Hey y'all, and welcome to the newest edition of Checkerboard Chat. My name's Rob Harvey, and I'm the assistant sports editor. And today we have a special guest filling in for our sports editor Trenton Duffer, who could not be here. This is Tyler Wombles. Some of y'all might have seen him before. He was on an earlier edition of Checkerboard Chat. He's a staff writer who focuses. You know, Tyler, you really kind of do all the sports for us. You don't really have a specific one. You've covered kind of everything.
I do. I've covered a lot of soccer. I'm technically supposed to be on track and field, but I've done a lot of soccer. I've covered a couple football press conferences. Just whatever y'all need me to do.
Yep. So speaking of football, let's kind of dive in here. So as you can tell, I'm a little hoarse here, and that's because yesterday was my one cheat day. I told Trenton when I took this job that, hey, I already bought tickets to the Georgia game, so I'm going. So I went, and it was quite the experience, let me tell you. I ended up by the second half, I was sitting in the corner where the Hail Mary took place, and I broke a chair when the Hail Mary happened. I broke one of the season ticket chairs, snapped the cushion just right off of it. And, I mean, I can't even begin. I really just don't know, like, how it – I still can't believe it happened.
You don't know
honestly.
how it happened at all?
No, it's just unbelievable. Like,
it is.
What?
Well, it was an unbelievable day. It was an
was.
Unbelievable game. Just everything about it was unbelievable.
I mean, 14 points in 10 seconds.
I know.
Like, I could never imagine that. I mean,
no.
When he – and let me tell you a story, it shows you how classy some Georgia fans are. When Georgia caught that touchdown with 10 seconds left to take the lead, actually, myself and a friend of mine had a Georgia student come up behind us and spit on us.
Spit on you?
And said some very derogatory things towards us. And so, Juwan Jennings catches that ball, and we turn around because that's the first thing we're going to see. We're going to yell at that kid, and he's running away. And so
he ran away.
Yeah, it was quite the
quite the experience down there in Athens.
Yeah. What was it like on campus when that happened? Could you hear like everyone at once? It was like a campus-wide shout.
Oh yeah. Well, me and my roommates, we were in one of our dorms and we were watching the game, and we're going nuts. Yeah. Whenever the Juwan Jennings caught that touchdown, but we could hear everyone in the lobby just going crazy.
Yeah.
We could hear people outside on the street. About probably 10 seconds later, there were people just running. I'm on the 8th floor of my dorm.
Right.
I'm in Memorial Hall. And there were people just sprinting down the sidewalks, yelling, it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Yeah. It was just a good day on Rocky Talk.
I saw where some people had burned a couch about 10 minutes right after it happened. I don't know what it is with burning couches.
I don't know.
The Florida game where about 3 couches burned.
It's definitely a tradition around here.
It's kind of weird wasting a couch, in my opinion. I'll take that couch off your hands if you don't want it. But all right, let's break down the game. So, who do you think was the most impactful player? I know you had Juwan Jennings, of course, but who do you think, like, other than him, who do you think is most impactful?
I've just got to go Josh Dobbs. I know that's what most people always say, it's the quarterback, but this time, I mean, Josh Dobbs, you see Josh Dobbs in some games where he just takes over a game.
Right.
He was the Georgia game last season.
Yeah.
Was one where he did that. In this game, he just really had another coming out party like he does a lot.
I think they live and die off of Josh Dobbs.
Oh yeah, he was running hard.
Yeah.
And the Hail Mary was a beautiful pass.
Yeah, it was perfectly
really
set up. Like, the ball could not have been placed any more perfectly. And Jennings, blocked out all 3.
Oh yeah,
he made it. And I think it was kind of Georgia just being kind of dumb. You had Lorenzo Carter back there who's 6'6", so you're thinking, he's just going to stand up in the front and back the ball.
Exactly.
But they had him in the back, and he didn't even come close to the ball. He barely jumped. And so, I think it was kind of some miscues from Georgia, but also just a great play. And, they called the timeout and switched up. Jennings was by himself over there at first, and they called a timeout and put him in the middle. Mm-hmm. And ended up, paying off for him. I still can't believe it.
Well, Juwan Jennings, he is just a football player.
He's a dog.
He came to Tennessee as a quarterback.
Yeah.
He was a highly recruited quarterback prospect, and he played in the spring game, I think it was last year, as a quarterback, converted to wide receiver. He was dead set on playing quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers, converted to wide receiver. I bet a lot of Tennessee fans
didn't complain about it
did.
one bit. He didn't complain about it at all. He switched. They said, hey, your best chance to play is going to be a wide receiver, and he took it in stride, and now he's the hero. I think my favorite part, honestly, was him. They asked him after the game, was this the greatest catch of your career? And he said, no, I think
number 2.
I think beating Tabor was my number 1, which I thought was hilarious.
I would say a lot of Tennessee fans would agree with him on that one.
Yeah. Defensively, they gave up 31 points, but it wasn't all terrible. Colton Jumper again, 11 tackles. I mean, the man continues to stand out, continues to prove me wrong after I bashed him
You
for
did
2
bash
weeks.
Colton Jumper.
And now, he had 8 tackles against Florida, 2 for loss. Now he had 11. I mean, he was everywhere, it seemed
He
like.
was. Colton Jumper has really showed out the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
filling in the linebacker spot.
He's been something else. And then you had the duo at the defensive ends, Corey Vereen and Derek Barnett.
Man.
My goodness, those
Derek
guys
Barnett.
both of them were
He's a
absolutely
monster.
unstoppable.
He-
I saw where Bruce Feldman today tweeted out his top 5 Heisman guys, and Derek Barnett was in there.
Was he really?
I thought, that's a little bit of a stretch, but at the same time, you see what he's done in the last 2 games.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's been ridiculous.
I mean, he has helped Tennessee win those games.
Yeah, he's single-handedly taken the games over. I mean, just ridiculous. And except for the biggest mistake of the game, secondary, Malik Foreman played well. He had the interception.
He did.
But that play, he just stopped running.
Yeah,
I think
he definitely
I think
let
he
up for some reason.
I think he thought, oh, this play's going too long. No way they get this pass. He wasn't looking, and so he just stopped, and that one hesitation just killed him. There's a picture I saw. Micah Abernathy's just looking at him as I can't remember the Georgia guy's name. He was some guy who's not done anything.
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
But as he's catching the ball, and Abernathy's just looking at Foreman you've
Really?
got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah,
And I mean,
well.
I think Malik Foreman is probably Jawan Jennings' biggest fan right now because he bailed him out.
He did. He bailed him out.
And honestly, I couldn't believe being at the game how loud it was when
Really?
he caught that Hail Mary. Because, there was a good Tennessee crowd there. The upper deck was all orange. There was good. But, it was loud as all get out. It was so loud, and it was awesome. I was in mainly I sat for the first half. My tickets were in the 600 levels up in the upper deck. Mm-hmm. And I fried. I burned, and it was hot, and it was bad. But then we got to move down in the shade with some other friends, in that corner. We were surrounded by Georgia fans, which I thought made it a lot better, honestly, just that, defeat, just seeing them so sad. They got mad at us and everything, and it was kind of funny.
Well, if they're spitting on you, then you're not going to be too sad to see Georgia lose.
Yeah, no, I was honestly scared for my life when they caught that pass, thinking they were going to win because those people were all in our faces.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm thinking,
bet.
walking out of here, I'm gonna get hurt.
Well,
but because I can't keep my mouth shut all the time. So, it was something else though. So now they got to move on. Texas A&M,
no, it's not going to be an easy game for the
an easy
Volunteers.
game,
Definitely
no.
not. Texas A&M is ranked number 8 right now, 1 spot ahead of the Tennessee Volunteers in the poll, in the AP poll.
And I think the real X factor for that game is kind of Trevor Knight because you see they struggled against South Carolina Saturday night, and Trevor Knight was bad. He threw for 200 some yards, but he had no passing touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown, but he had an interception too, and he just did not look good. And they struggled because and it depends. Myles Garrett has been hurt. He didn't play.
Been hurt, yes.
And so it's going to really depend on whether he can play Saturday.
And Myles Garrett, he is a difference maker. He really is.
He is. But I honestly, everybody has him ranked higher than Derek Barnett. I think Derek Barnett is better because I don't think Myles Garrett can totally take control of a game like Derek Barnett does.
I would agree with you on that. Derek Barnett has just taken over the game from the defensive side the last 2 games for Tennessee.
Yeah, it's been something else. You can see it in his eyes, and it's just he just takes control. It's over when that happens.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
That's all you can say. He's a monster.
But I don't know. I feel like A&M's gonna. I said since the beginning of the season that I think Tennessee's gonna lose to A&M. So I feel. I don't feel very good for the Vols on this one. I don't know. If they get down 17-0, I don't think they're. If they get down pretty bad, I don't think they're coming back from this one. I think Texas A&M's too good of a team for that to happen.
Well, and you've heard this sentiment from a lot of college football fans. Tennessee has pulled it out so far this season, but there are going to be games like Texas A&M and then Alabama next where they can't just play the second half or the fourth quarter and pull it out.
Because these teams are so talented.
Yes, and they have, they have a lot more technique and a lot more preparation and talent than teams like Ohio.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole nother level of talent. I still think Tennessee was the more talented team against Florida and Georgia, but I think A&M honestly challenges them talent-wise. I think A&M is very, very talented.
They are.
Their receiving core of Christian Kirk, Speedy Noyle, and Ricky Seals-Jones is just absolutely ridiculous. And so if Trevor Knight can get them the ball, I think Tennessee's going to struggle. And, Tennessee struggles with those long passes, trying to cover those long passes. We saw it, that last play with 10 seconds left. Against Georgia, they couldn't cover it. And, against Florida, first half, Callaway ran all over them. So, I think they'll test that Tennessee secondary, and I'm interested to see how Mosley and Foreman and Buchanan and Martin, if he plays, who knows about him. I think it'll be interesting to see how they respond.
And I think that, and I said this for this last game too, I think the player of the Tennessee secondary will definitely be a factor. I think it's this way for every game that Tennessee will play this season.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's defensive line will be the X factor.
Yep.
If Derek Barnett, Shane Vereen, Corey Vereen, my bad. Shane Vereen plays for the Patriots.
Plays for the Patriots.
Yep. Corey Vereen, Danny O'Brien, Kendall Vickers, Khalil McKenzie, if they can get in there and disrupt Trevor Knight and disrupt his pocket and take away the run, then he will be forced to throw all the time, and they will either sack him, and he may get some good completions to Speedy Noel or some of those other receivers, but I think Tennessee's secondary is good enough that they may give up some big completions, but Knott's not going to be able to run away from Derek Barnett all night.
Right, yeah. He and Trevor Knight, I know against Arkansas he had over 100 rushing yards, but he's not very fast. Barnett's a pretty quick guy for a defensive end.
He's very quick.
So I think if he can get to him, then it could be some trouble for Trevor Knight. And I think, Crowd also is going to have a say in this because, their fan base is one of the strongest fan bases. That stadium gets loud. They have 30. Their student section is 30.
The 12th man.
Their student section is 30,000. They have 30,000 student tickets, and they sell out every single game. So I think it'll be a test for the Vols. I don't know how well they'll do, but it'll be interesting to see. And just kind of going forward, these next two games, A&M and Alabama, those are big games.
Definitely.
If you think about that, if they win one of those, everybody's saying, oh, they've got the SEC East locked up right now, but no, Florida's only lost one conference game, and so if Tennessee loses to A&M and Alabama, Florida's in first place because they only have one conference loss at the time. But they also have to play LSU, they have to play Arkansas, and they have to play Georgia. So I think they'll lose one, if not two of those games, Florida. But still, Tennessee is definitely not in the clear yet.
No, they're definitely not in the clear. And I think one interesting – this is going off a little bit onto something else, but I think one interesting thing to look at is it has been announced that College Game Day will be at Texas A&M as Tennessee goes to play Texas A&M. And if Tennessee defeats Texas A&M, they should be ranked probably
top 5,
close to the top 5, if not in the top 5. If Alabama is still number 1, I would bet that College Game Day will be at Neyland Stadium.
I bet a lot of
next week.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people won't be happy about that too. There's a lot of people complaining already about 3 games in 6 weeks, and my response to those people is, well, I guess your team's just not. Those are the best games week in and week out.
And that's what they do. They look for the best games.
Tennessee is playing the tough, their schedule is so tough, and these games right now, there's a reason that Tennessee is on College Game Day so much, and it's because these games are such big games, and I don't understand why people are complaining about that they're going to Texas A&M over Tennessee over Arkansas and Alabama. Honestly, no offense to Arkansas. Arkansas is a good team, but they are just not on that level at Tennessee and A&M. It's a top 10 matchup.
It is a top 10 matchup. It is.
I just don't.
And it will probably be. If Tennessee defeats Texas A&M, it will be when they play Alabama.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Tennessee moves up into the top 5 or whatnot. I know Tennessee is I think they're a 6.5 point underdog, which is kind of. That's kind of what I was expecting. Just going on the road after 2 very emotional wins. It'll be interesting to see. I know Derek Barnett said after the game he ran around for a little bit and then it's over. He's moved on. Moved on to the next game. But that's what they said against Florida, and then they come out there against Georgia and are down 17-0.
Yep.
And so, here another thing now that I bring that up. What is it with Tennessee and such slow starts? They just can't get momentum to start the game.
I don't know. Butch Jones always says in his press conferences that these slow starts are uncharacteristic of his Tennessee team, but they do it almost every week.
Yeah.
And so Tennessee has to, I'd say going into practice this week, they have to just watch film and evaluate what is it that's causing these slow starts, because you can't do that against teams like Alabama, Texas A&M that are high-class contenders in the SEC.
Yeah, and I know Derek Barnett said after the game that we haven't even been close to seeing what Tennessee is capable of. And I don't know if you're a Tennessee fan, if you take that as a if you think that as a, oh, yeah, or, oh. Like, when are we ever going to see that then? Because, these two very emotional games, and yet they haven't seen the best out of Tennessee yet. Like, I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, I would agree with that statement, actually, because I don't think we've seen what Tennessee is capable of.
I don't either, but, what's it going to take for them to get there?
Well, I don't think there's any team in the SEC that has more talent than Tennessee. I really don't. You have Josh Dobbs, the dual-threat quarterback. You have Jalen Hurd, who has gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, but he's one of the best running backs in the SEC. Alvin Kamara. You have several Tennessee receivers have really come out and had a very good season. Josh Malone, Josh Smith, Jawan Jennings, obviously. I think that if Tennessee could get past these slow starts, there is no team on the schedule that should be able to beat them with the talent that they possess.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Alabama's probably up there in talent-wise. I think Alabama personally has more talent than Tennessee, but it's really close. And so, yeah, Tennessee, I'm interested to see when they actually get to, that the level that they're supposed to be playing at. But, moving on, you mentioned Jalen Hurd. I mean, what happened to him? Like, they say he got injured, but first off, the touchdown that he fumbled, I don't know what was I really don't know what was going through his head. He catches the ball.
Well, he just let up.
He's 2 yards from the end zone and just starts jogging, thinking that he's got a free ride to the end zone. The guy pops him right on the 1 yard line, and he fumbles, and they pick it up. I mean, just kind of. I was standing there like, I can't believe that he just did that. Like, Jalen Hurd is a veteran. Like, he can't be doing stuff like that.
You can't be making mistakes like that. That's a freshman mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't really blame Jalen Hurd for fumbling the ball because he got rocked on a blindside hit. But he let up. And you can't let up when you're a step from the goal line.
He shouldn't be in that position anyway. And if he sees that guy coming, he should reach the ball out and cross over the goal line for a touchdown.
And he didn't even have to see him coming. If he had just not let up, he would have crossed the goal line. Yeah. And once you cross the goal line, the play is dead, even if you fumble, because it's a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a very dumb play, honestly. It was very dumb. And then I feel like a lot of times this season when he's running, it's almost like feels like he's a 200-pound running back, and he's so slow to get to the outside, and he's hiding back there, and he just I don't know what, like, he's not playing the way Jalen Hurd should play.
He's not, and he has not got. To be honest, he has not gotten very good blocking from his offensive line. The offensive line has struggled all season with protection and blocking, but Jalen Hurd has to pick his game up. Alvin Kamara played a good amount of the second half yesterday, a lot more than he had been. And I think a lot of it was due to the fact that Jalen Hurd fumbled that ball.
Yeah, and I know, you look at Kamara's stats, he had I think he might have had 70 rushing yards, but, he caught the touchdown. But he played incredibly well, I felt like. He did really well blocking. He made that touchdown to start the fourth quarter was huge. I mean, he broke that tackle and just kept going. Like, it was a very good play. Yeah. And I felt like he played insanely well. Like, probably his best performance of the season.
Oh, definitely. I would definitely say so.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny, when that Hail Mary happened, his reaction. He kind of was there on his knees, and then he just fell on the ground, and he was just laying there like, I cannot believe this just happened.
Well, you can always count on him to give you a little bit of a dramatic performance, both on the field and on the sidelines.
Yeah, I just still can't, I woke up this morning, and I was watching the play again, and I just keep expecting him to drop the ball or the ball to get batted down. I just still can't believe, that luck went Tennessee's way, because, Tennessee for the past 6 years even, luck has just gone against them. LSU that 1 year, UNC the same year. It's just Georgia. I mean, a Georgia game, Oklahoma, Florida. It just seems nothing goes Tennessee's way. And they've had luck twice this season now. With the Florida, which just the kind of turnaround of the game, just turned around just like that, and Florida kind of imploded. And now the Hail Mary, Georgia slacking off and thinking they'd won the game. Just insane, the luck that Tennessee is getting for once.
Oh, yeah, and Tennessee had a lot of luck early in the season with fumble recoveries. I mean, that's what beat Appalachian State was a fumble recovery by Jalen Hurd in the end zone. And then, against Ohio, there was, 4 or 5 fumble recoveries that they had? They fumbled 4 or 5 times.
They keep recovering. Well, they didn't twice now against Georgia, but they keep recovering their own fumbles,
Yeah, and that's another one of those things that we talk about where you can't play that way against an Alabama or a Texas A&M and expect to win that game. So Tennessee has to go into this week and look at the little things like that. What can we do to not have these slow starts and not have these problems and control the game.
Right, I agree. So what do you think Tennessee wins the East, though? You think after these two games, do you think it's still too early to tell, or do you think, you kind of think, oh, yeah, they got this locked up?
I don't think they have it locked up, but I think that Tennessee has pulled it out so far. And like I said, I think that if you just Tennessee continues to work on the problems, Tennessee has improved. If you look at the Appalachian State game versus the Florida game or the game yesterday, yes, they had their bad moments in the first halves, but Josh Dobbs has really stepped up his game. And I think that Tennessee definitely has a chance to still win the East.
And, I don't think Tennessee really played that terrible in the first half, honestly. It's like the Florida game. The offense got going, but they just had stupid mistakes with the Jalen Hurd fumble.
Yes.
Alvin Kamara fumbled, right?
It's an execution problem.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs played fine in the first half, and they played well, But it's just they kind of gave Georgia, and they gave Florida. They gave them points. And, you can't do that against, an Alabama or an A&M. So they really need to work on that.
Nick Saban will definitely make you pay for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I worry if you're a Tennessee fan. I worry because it's just kind of they're just not there. Everybody's kind of freaking out, but they still aren't there yet. And it's just a wonder, when will they get there?
I really don't know. I think we'll just have to see the way the rest of this season plays out. It's already been a ride this season so far, and Tennessee's 5-0, and they're ranked number 9 in the AP poll right now. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how the season goes from here.
So kind of going off a little here to wrap things up off of Tennessee football. Lamar Jackson last night. I know Clemson beat Louisville, but Lamar Jackson. What did you?
He's a stud.
Did you watch the game?
He is a stud. I watched some of it. I wasn't able to watch the whole game, but I saw enough of Lamar Jackson. The guy is just incredible.
That didn't even, usually people say, oh, they lost a game, it hurts his Heisman.
I don't think so
That
at
did
all.
No. He threw for almost 300 yards and ran for 168.
He did all he could in that game.
He single-handedly led them back because they were getting thumped, and he led them back into that game. They had the lead. They had a chance to win if the guy had not he forgot where the first down marker was and ran out of bounds on 4th down 1 yard short. That's a very
There's those execution.
There's those execution things, that we were talking about.
I personally think Lamar Jackson is going to win the Heisman.
I do too.
I think that he is far and away the top candidate for that award right now, and I would be really surprised if he does not walk away with it at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think unless he gets hurt or unless something happens that he just has a couple horrible games in a row, I think he honestly already has it locked up because he has played just so incredible these first.
No one compares to him.
Yeah, no one. Deshaun Watson threw 3 interceptions last night. Deshaun Watson has not been impressive so far this year. I don't think he's been very impressive at all. And I don't know who Leonard Fournette. He hadn't done anything.
No.
He's been hurt. He hadn't done much when
and
he was
LSU
healthy.
has not done much at all.
Yeah, they finally, speaking of LSU, they won 42-7 last night against Missouri.
Yeah, I think so.
That was, I bet Ed Orgeron feels pretty good, but especially because they ran the ball for over 400 yards without Leonard Fournette.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And there is no denying what Leonard Fournette brings to the table.
Right.
He's a crazy good running back.
Yeah.
But, like you said, if they can run for... You said they ran for 400 yards?
They ran for over 400
yards. If they
yards.
can run for over 400 yards without Leonard Fournette...
honestly, that's something else. And, I know it was Missouri, but, Missouri gave Georgia a fight. Missouri's not...
Missouri has a very good offense.
Yeah, they're a pretty good offense. Drew Lock's an okay quarterback, I think.
Well, he's young.
He's just a sophomore, I think. Yeah, I think they just kind of... They're a young team, coach is just trying to get used to things, first year coaching, being a head coach and being in the SEC, so it's kind of tough.
Definitely.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Missouri does and how Ed Orgeron does as well, at LSU. I wonder if he succeeds well. I wonder if they'll keep him as a permanent head coach because, he kind of got screwed out of the USC a couple years ago when he did a great job as an interim.
He did, but I think it's definitely a possibility. We see that a lot more now. We saw it from the Tennessee Titans.
Right. And Missouri did it too.
Yeah.
He was in line to be the head coach after Pinkel, and so they made it. They, instead of trying to go out and hire someone new, they just hired him, the defense coordinator.
Well, and when you have an interim coach, it's usually someone from within the organization,
Right.
and they already have that relationship with the players, and then they build it more on as the season progresses while they're their interim coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes you don't want to bring in, just hire a new guy when you can just keep that same guy and continue building them on what you already started.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's all the time we have today. I'm Rob Harvey, and this is Tyler Wombles. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out. We will do a preview for the Texas A&M game with Trenton, our sports editor. We'll be back for that. So thanks for watching.